Welcome to the Axecast. This is the Saturday, February 8th, 2025 edition of the Axecast. I'm here with my co-hosts, Luke Ennemark and Eric Parmenter. Guys, how we doing?
Doing good to be back.
Definitely.
A little optimistic after the trade deadline that we had. We'll just dive right into it. The Grizzlies, relatively uneventful trade deadline, shipped off Marcus Smart to Washington, as well as a first-round draft pick, and also Jake LaRavia for some picks. So, you guys take it away. What are the takes?
Yeah. Do you want to go first, Luke, or me?
You go ahead.
Okay. Going into the trade deadline, I think we all expected maybe a bigger splash for us to get better. And so I think the initial maybe 24 hours after the deadline was a little frustrating for a lot of Grizzlies fans. But me personally, I had a list of players that were expendable, that we just had too many guards on our team. And I think we chose the two best ones to get rid of. Kind of pulling the plug on the Marcus Smart experience. It was a swing and a miss, as Kleinman said yesterday. They tried it. It just didn't work with his injuries, and just off the court stuff was good with him, helping the team out, but just on the court wasn't as expected. And so I give Kleinman and the front office props for admitting their mistake, that they were wrong, and not trying to double down on it, force it, like maybe they've done in the past with some guys too long. Instead, they're just owning it and getting rid of him. So I think in a bubble, getting rid of him and LaRavia, it's not going to make our team better, but I think we just had too many guys on our team that do the same things. Even still Contra on our roster, we just have so many guards on our team that some sort of consolidation had to happen. So in a bubble, I'm fine with it. I think the way that it happened and the point in time that our roster is at, we just feel like with how good Jaren's playing, man, we're like one star away from being like true contenders. And so I think that's why a lot of Grizzlies fans were upset. I get it financially that this deal was primarily to clear up some money to re-sign Jaren, give him the max money or whatever this offseason, as well as same thing with Santi. I think he's up as well this summer. So that makes sense. I didn't listen to the whole interview from Kleiman yesterday, but it seems from clips that I heard that they made several offers to multiple stars that just didn't formalize. And he was basically saying, I'm not going to make a deal just to win a press conference, just to say like, hey, I did something. That he didn't like the deals that were offered to him on certain players that they checked in on. So if that's the case, I can't fault him because he tried. And I don't want him to just make a move just to make a move. And I know we could talk later about kind of how this impacts our team moving forward. But, I mean, Jake LaRavia, I've long not really been on the Jake LaRavia train. He played a lot better this year, I'd say, more consistently. But he still just has a lot of moments that are just mind-boggling and just doesn't seem to fit out there and have confidence to shoot when the ball is swung to him. So I like both those guys. They're both good dudes, but I think the writing was on the wall. Wish we could have gotten maybe a little bit something better back for them, specifically Marcus Smart, considering what we gave up to get him originally. But in a bubble, I can't really fault our front office for what they decided to do, given the circumstances of our team. So that's kind of my take on it as of now.
Yeah, for sure. It was disappointing to have to like sell low on Marcus Smart after giving up what we did to get him. But I am happy that if we're going to get rid of people, those two people, I've been on the trade Marcus Smart train for a little bit, and then LaRavia definitely. We have too many guys, and I don't see a role for LaRavia in a condensed rotation. It's for sure. And also, like, for sure, I'm always on the supportive of don't make a move unless it's like it's there. That's the move. Because like if you make a move, then maybe you can't make the move. when it actually materializes later because you've already made a move for the sake of making a move. So I agree with Kleiman on that in that respect a lot. And then also like Marcus Smart, like I don't know how much he played, but it's like a finger is keeping him injured the whole tenure at the Grizzlies. So
yeah,
play him for one game to prove that he actually can play and then get rid of him. So I agree with that. And then if it helps us with financial extensions in the summer, all for it for sure. Really glad we kept Santi and want to extend him too. I do think we still like we consolidated a little bit, but there's still a lot of players on our roster that have cases for minutes, and I think like Eric texts every game like we have too many players, and so it's I strategically let you go first so you couldn't steal my takes, Eric. But it's like GG Jackson, Vince Williams, like kind of similar players. Jalen Wells, same vein. Do we need to play all three of them who do similar things? I don't know. So it would have been nice to, maybe choose one and try to make a big upgrade. But if something's not there, it's not there. But it was frustrating to see throughout the day, like, I think DeAndre Hunter got traded. I thought he would have been really great. Did Brandon Ingram get moved to the Raptors?
Raptors.
Yeah.
In like while we were playing them.
Yeah. So Brandon Ingram got traded. Jimmy Butler, he didn't want to play for us, so whatever. And then Durant would have taken a lot. He's old, but we could have maybe done something. And it is like disappointing for this season that we couldn't have made a bigger addition, but I trust Kleiman, and if nothing was there, nothing was there. So, and then also like I thought when I saw the Marcus Smart trade, like originally, like I heard Eric text buzzer beater, all caps, and I thought it was like moves for moves, so maybe we're gonna get someone big, and it's just like
right.
you can just get rid of them. So, that's how it went down. But I'm still hopeful. I think we have a great team. It's just I don't think we were improved at the deadline. Definitely don't see Marvin Bagley or Johnny Davis having a huge role at all. So, but that's what I think.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat that I think we all were, at the end of the relatively uneventful trade deadline. I was kind of swung the other way where I didn't mind Marcus Smart. It just kind of sucked that, he's been so injured. I think we were doing an Axcast live one time when I want to say it was against Dallas last year. I don't know. I could be making that up, but he broke his finger in that game. We were like, oh, well, he's going to be amputated, and basically came to fruition. But I am kind of on the other side of getting rid of Marcus Smart because he's a voice in the locker room come playoff time that guys would listen to. And there's just not anybody. We don't have anybody over the age of 30, right? I mean, Marcus Smart is 30, and I think he was the only player over the age of 30 on our team. And it's just kind of frustrating. Eric can double check me on that, but I mean, it's time and time again, this has been the same story, right? We're a young group of guys who haven't won, and we don't have anybody in that locker room that's won before, right? I mean, this is why, for years now, I've been saying that, I do miss that Jay Crowder in the locker room, do miss that Solomon Hill in the locker room. So, I mean,
real quick, can you guess the oldest player on the Grizzlies right now? And
Jay
who is it?
Jay Huff.
No, Luke Kennard, 28.
28. Oh. So yeah, when Luke Kennard is your oldest, most experienced NBA player, I love Kennard, and actually I'm gonna give a very positive take for Kennard here a little bit, but it's just Kennard, he's not a champion. He hasn't been to a conference finals, so you're losing playoff experience. And I know Marcus Smart wasn't a part of that Boston title team, but he's won a lot of playoff games. So I was actually on the other side of that. Was totally in favor of thank you for your services, Jake LaRavia, but we're good. We're good with that. It's just been, if I had a nickel for every possession that Jake LaRavia just looked like the deer in the headlights and like trying to Euro step through the lane and get stripped or turnover, bad pass, I was good on that. I was honestly like kind of frustrating that Lakers game at the end of the season last year where like he popped off and had like 30 plus or something like that. Cause it was like, oh, is like Jake LaRavia. I'm like, no, like, come on. Like that was a meaningless game. Nobody cared about, like, come on. Like that's not Jake LaRavia. So I just I mean, I like the takes, of Kleiman not needing a deal, not doing a deal just because he has to. And, all the reports were that, like, a couple hours before, we made a huge attempt at KD again. We made a huge take for him 2 years ago, right, with the Nets. So, like, Kleiman's out there. And it's just, I don't want to do the woe is me for, like, I root for a small market team, man. But, like, when you're a fan of like the smallest market team in the NBA and you have superstars like a Jimmy Butler, even an aging Jimmy Butler and an aging Kevin Durant that still don't want to come to your team. Granted, Kevin Durant didn't want to go to any team. He didn't want to leave Phoenix at all. But like, man, we could use a Jimmy Butler. Like that would be the piece. And to have him just openly like, no, I'm not going. Like, it's just tough. So,
I get your take. I do think that could rear its head for us this year is when we face adversity in the playoffs, not having someone who's been through it. I mean, we've been through our fair share of playoff adversity, even though we haven't gotten to the finals or the Western Conference Finals. We've had, 3-4 years, at least under the Ja era, of playoff series, and I guess we're just kind of banking on, we've been there enough times in playoff games to know what it takes. And although like statistically we're not old, like Ja, Jaren, and Bane have played in playoff games multiple times. So I mean, but I do think that could be a problem, Caleb. I see your point of view there. I think we were just cutting its head off. Like we were just stop lossing, getting out of the Marcus Smart deal. It didn't work. And I think if you were going to consolidate because you had to, it is like, could we just have traded him in the offseason, I guess is my question. I don't know if that had like different financial implications if we traded him now versus the offseason. Because, I mean, in a perfect world, we could have just dealt him after the playoffs so that he stayed around in our run to be that voice in the locker room. But maybe you guys know more about that than me.
Well, okay. When he actually did play, which was not frequent, it seemed like he had the same Dylan Brooks mentality where he just like hoists stuff and just does not stop regardless of if it's going in, and it didn't really go in that much, felt like. And he would shoot it so much that I wouldn't want him actually playing. If he like has good leadership, that's good. But like I feel like they would play him in the rotation and he's good at defense, but I don't know. I'm sick of Dylan Brooks doing that type of thing. So
I feel like the key for that is like played in a bunch of playoff series. Like we've played in 4 and won 1, lost to the Jazz, weren't really supposed to win that series, but Minnesota series, really, we look back at that series and say Minnesota had us, like kind of lucky that we snuck by Minnesota. They were beating us in the fourth quarter, like every game. And we found a way, like they had just a colossal collapse, and then lost to the Warriors, and then got ran out by the Lakers. So like
Fair.
I'm concerned that like these are playoff losses and not even just wins.
Yeah, but I think a point I'm going to make later, I'll save it though, is if you look back at those years, we have yet to play a playoff series with everyone healthy. It still has not happened.
Yeah.
2021, it was Ja. 2022 was Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. Last year it was Ja and Dez, plus others. Or not last year, 2 years ago when we were there. Like, we have yet to see what this team is fully together. And it doesn't excuse some of the playoff losses, but I guess that's what, and I'm going to talk about it later, is like they trust Vince to come in. They trust if we have our core three together, Ja, Jaren, and Dez, that they trust that our other guys around them don't have to be perfect and they don't have to like be heroic in the playoffs. They could just fill in their role, do their job, and see what it looks like for once, because it hasn't happened yet. But I get it, but we also haven't seen what it looks like when it's everyone's together.
Totally agree.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And the teams that we have played have been full strength. That Lakers series, they did have AD, LeBron, all their role players. The Warriors did have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, all the guys. So
the Lakers were fully healthy, plus Rui Hachimura turned into Superman for a week.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is a fair point. And we do know, if there's one thing that we know, like Ja is a gamer when it comes to the playoffs. Like he gets up for these big playoff games. So that is a fair point for sure.
No.
Yeah, just to like put a bow on this whole thing and kind of move on to like the rest of the roster. That Marcus Smart deal, just basically like you already said it, Eric, but like it's trust in Jalen Wells and Vince Williams. So what are y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, I think Wells has been like beyond my expectations for sure for a rookie. His defense is probably the thing that is most appealing to me. And then something that we've been lacking is like someone who can also just, even if they're not like scoring a bunch of threes, at least space the floor. So like Morant and Jaren can try to attack. And so I think like just like his shooting ability, the threat of him being able to like make a three is going to be super helpful if we play him. So I feel like he would definitely have a role in like the playoffs. And I kind of think, I mean, I haven't seen enough from Vince yet to say like if he should be over Wells, but like he was great in the time that he was healthy. So I'm glad that we haven't traded any of them yet, even though maybe it would have been a better move to try to. But what's done is done. I kind of am on the Wells train at the moment, out of like him, Gigi, and Vince.
Yeah, I own all the Vince Williams stock. I have for a couple years now. I love Jalen Wells. He's been awesome. Like no one could predict this, coming from Sonoma State to Washington State to playing not just like spot minutes, but he's been starting for us basically the whole year, playing at a high level for the most part. It's been crazy to watch. I do think though people forget who Vince Williams is when he's fully healthy. I'm very excited to see him play tonight. I think he could have a star-studded performance. This is like a typical. I was watching his highlights this week, and like every highlight was in like the biggest games. It was like a TNT game, ESPN game. That's when he turns into Vince the Menace and is just wreaking havoc defensively and making plays on offense, because he could score too. So I do think in the playoffs, and Kleiman kind of hinted at it last night in his press conference, it's going to be Vince, I think. Maybe Wells starts like a game one or game two. But I do think they're ultimately going to ride with Vince. And my prediction is that Gigi is the one kind of left out in this playoff run. He'll probably get some minutes, but I don't think he's going to be playing like 20 minutes a night or anything above 15. But I mean, Jalen Wells has been awesome. He's defending at such a high level, and that's very valuable in the playoffs. I think my only concern with him is like it seems like in some of the bigger games we've played in, his 3-point shot has just kind of faltered with some bad misses, almost looking like Gigi with some like air balls and stuff. But he's awesome. Like either of those guys, I'm comfortable with playing. I prefer Vince just because of I trust him a little bit more as of now. But yet again, we've only seen like Vince played like 5 minutes the other night, and he looked good, but we still have yet to see him play like a full game yet. But I'm excited.
For sure.
Luke.
I guess I don't disagree with that Vince was great, but he just has been injured for so long. So, I got to see it first. And I think Wells has shown it. I don't think he's shooting it. Like his shot looks super good when it is going. So one person I also wanted to shout out was Scottie Pippen Jr. I think he has been playing out of his mind, and his defense insane. And he needs a bigger role, I think, just in general. So I don't know.
He's really good.
Yeah.
His only downside is turnovers at times and ability to knock down threes.
He's not bad. He's okay.
Not bad. He's not bad. But he had a good game shooting the other night, but he's just kind of streaky. But he's a menace on defense, and he's Mr. Hustle, Mr. Energy, Energizer Bunny.
Yeah.
As Brevin says sometimes. So
dude, I always get the stupid away broadcast, and every game, like the Bucks game, they were just going bananas because Scottie Pippen Jr. was stealing it every time. It's it was that time when I forget his name. It was that G League player we called up, and they were like, "Yo, they just need a flagrant 2 this guy." It was Trey Jemison. Trey Jemison. They were just flagrant 2 Trey Jemison. He's doing too well. It was that. They were going bananas because Scottie Pippen Jr. was just stealing it every time. So I don't know. I'm keeping my eye out for him. I'm buying all the stock.
Yeah, like I said, the Marcus Smart thing was a huge statement of saying that we trust Jalen Wells and Vince Williams. I can get on board with Vince Williams, not being affected by the big moments in the spotlight, right? Because this is what we have come to really value, right? After that Lakers series in the playoffs, lights were too bright for some of those guys, right? That was a big litmus test for a lot of our roster. And I think that's just the prison that we view things under now. And so if we want to put that, if we're thinking about how Vince Williams will hold up to that litmus test, I can get on board with the fact that Vince would be one of those 4 or 5 guys that, won't be phased by that moment. Because, that dude hoops in a baggy tee underneath the jersey. That's just menace behavior. So
he guards Steph Curry and Luka Doncic while laughing.
Yeah,
he's an absolute menace.
Yeah, dude's black Air Force energy, as they say. And so I can get on board with that. Now I do have questions about the shooting. When it comes down to, hey, Vince Williams has to take 15 shots. All right, is he going to make 4 or is he going to make 9? That's what this is going to come down to, and I'm not sold on that just yet. And it partly is because I just haven't seen. He played 4 games this season? He was injured for the first 20-something games, played 3 games, and then was injured all the way up until last game against the Raptors, right? So,
yeah,
3 or 4 games that he's played all season. So, just jury's still out on that, I think.
He's basically he shot 38% from 3 last year, and that's what Jalen Wells is at this year. But again, he hasn't played in forever, so you don't know what he'll do this year.
And so then that brings me to Jalen Wells. I love Jalen Wells too. Second in Rookie of the Year ladder. If last
Who's number one?
Stephon Castle, the Spurs, and Edie was 3. So Wells has been balling. Another hit from Zach Kleiman. I mean, year in and year out, he gets these, late first round, early second round picks. And I don't know how he does it, but he sees things that other general managers don't. And how he saw that in Jalen Wells, I don't know. But we're just truly, truly blessed to have Zach Kleiman be the general manager and be the one in charge of drafting for the Memphis Grizzlies. Because he absolutely hit on Jalen Wells. But there have been concerns. I mean, go back and look at those numbers when the lights are bright. That Lakers game in LA this year wasn't pretty. The game in Madison Square Garden like a week ago when we got blown out by 40 wasn't pretty. Lights were too bright, So that's my concern, Come playoff time, can Jalen Wells again? Jalen Wells has got to take 15 shots. Is he going to make 2 or is he going to make 8? And I'm just not sold that he's definitely going to make 8.
Yeah. I mean, projecting in the future, he's going to be that guy. It's just a matter of this year being a rookie. I feel like they're going to, once it's fourth quarter, 5 minutes and under, I think they're going to ride with Vince over him. Not a knock on Jalen. It's just he's a rookie and hasn't been through this before. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he steps up to the occasion, but I just feel like they're going to ride with Vince.
I think in his defense, you can say glass half full. He is a rookie, and probably the most development you have is right when you start your career, and it's not even the All-Star break yet. So, Jalen Wells in playoff time might be a completely different evolved guy relative to now. And I think he's doing great now. Maybe he's a rookie. He has some tough games, but everybody has tough games. So I really am hopeful for him. And I think he's going to do great. It's just his shot is so crisp when it works and his defense is amazing. So
right.
I don't know. If Vince can transform back to Vince Williams from old, but it's he's played 4 games this season. So I can't just get on that wagon quite yet.
Look, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
you have
for sure.
Guys that you can trust to defend some of the best players on the other team, if not the best player on the other team, and capable of making an open 3-pointer. So we'll be fine.
Yeah. I think we need to just make every single person besides Ja, Jaren, Desmond, defense and 3-point shooting, and we'll be good.
Right.
With some rebounding. We need that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I can potentially, get on board with that thing with Vince. Yeah. I mean, I hear all those things about development, but we're 2 months away from playoff basketball here. We're in February. Next month is March, and then April, second week of April is when playoffs start, right? So, we're 9-10 weeks away from first round. So we'll see. I don't hate it. I'm not there. I'm not there in open gym practice. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know these players better than Zach Kleiman and Taylor Jenkins and Jason Wexler know them, because that's not true. And I don't get paid a bunch of money to know, but I just hope they're right. So, cool. Well, we're kind of already dancing on that topic, but I think the big concern and something I'm curious to hear y'all's takes on. We got to walk into the playoff series tomorrow. Who do you trust to knock back down? I know they were talking about it on the Vernon show, so kind of just saying things verbatim from them. But what are y'all's takes?
Big 3 for sure. Vince, because of just his mentality. Santi. I like Santi a lot. I love him. He's going to be the next jersey I buy. I really like Santi.
You trust Santi in a playoff series?
Oh, yeah. I love Santi. I'll buy all his stock too. One person who I think is like a mentality like that too, like does not back down, is Edie. Edie like seems like every single matchup he's in, he like takes it like serious, personal. Like he's not afraid to get physical. I think like he's gonna be a huge help in like that's Golden State series. Like we just could not grab a rebound to save our lives. Like that's gonna be key. So like even if he's not playing like crazy minutes, like it's a situational person that we can throw out there, which I think is what Kleiman said when we drafted him. I don't know, Eric, who else am I missing?
I think it's pretty similar. Also, BC, he's been playing a lot better this end of this year, like since his rough start coming back from injury. I think he was very, very good for us in the playoffs, especially against like the Timberwolves and the Warriors. So I think he's someone we could trust. I almost feel like we might end up starting him depending on situational who we're playing at center. But he's someone I trust. He's been there. He's seen it. But the guys you mentioned, yeah, I do trust Santi. The only thing with Santi's consistency, he has games where he could make 7 threes and go crazy. And then there's games where he'll go like 2 for 19 or something, like almost Dylan Brooksy. But at least he's still fiery and he'll still show out defensively and be a pest. So I'm not worried about Santi.
I don't want to hear slander.
It's not slander. It's just awareness.
Okay.
What about your untouchable, Eric? What about Kennard?
Yeah.
That goes without saying.
Great, like couple months stretch,
dude. Kennard, I feel like Kennard has been able to put the ball on the floor
way better
this year more than I've ever seen him. Like he's creating his own offense this year.
He's actually like layups.
There had to have been some sort of conversation between either Jenkins or someone else sitting down with him and being like, look, we know how good you are. Like, you need to start doing it. Because he just was so passive and he would only take like a wide open 3. He would never really put it on the floor or facilitate. Now he's playmaking. He's like unlocking like floaters in mid range, and he's taking a lot more 3-pointers, and he's still hitting at like 40-something% rate.
It's almost 50. He's number 1 in the NBA. It's like 49.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. So I trust him. I always trust him. He is like defensively, it's Luke Kennard. So like in the playoffs, that's going to happen. But that's why you mix in lineups where with him playing with Vince or Jalen and keeping Jaren on the court. But yeah, let's see what he's at right now. 3-pointer.
His ball handling is like a game changer, I think.
Yeah, he's at 47. He's at 48% from 3. That's
insane.
Yeah.
On almost 5 attempts.
Yeah.
5 attempts a game and 48%. So he's making like almost 2.5.
And he should attempt 8 a game.
Yeah.
It could be more.
He should be attempting way more, in my opinion, still. But he's been great. This might be crazy. Tell me if I'm crazy. I don't even know. He's either not going to play at all in the playoffs, or he's going to like sneaky, like be like an unsung hero. I trust Jay Huff in the playoffs. He could be like a plug and play. Like you need a couple buckets, put him in there, revitalize the home crowd, hit a couple threes, do a reverse dunk. All of a sudden the game flips on a dime and the crowd's back into it. And we're back. Like I know he doesn't play a lot anymore because we have.
Where has he been? Why is he getting these DNPs?
I don't.
We get too many people.
We have too many guys, but
I guess like maybe they knew like they would keep him and they wanted the rest of these guys that they were potentially thinking about trading to get on the court. But
that's what I feel like. He's like a very situational guy. If whatever reason Edie's in foul trouble and BC doesn't bring much offensively, and we need something, we're desperate for points. We need like a resurgence, something to flip the script. I feel like you just throw him in there and let him cook, because he shoots the ball at a high level. Plus, he's like always making these like crazy dunks and stuff that gets the crowd and the team hyped up. So I'm curious to see what his role will be, I guess, the rest of the season, if at all, and in the playoffs. But
I 100% agree. Like Huff's highs have been so high, and
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of him. I think like we need to find a way to use him because he's a great asset to have. His shooting is like a game changer, I think, and also he's no slouch at like rim protection. I feel like it's the Huff snuff, as it's been called quite a few times. So we got to find a role for him.
He's 7'1". He's shooting 42% from 3 on 4
That's
attempts.
such like a asset. We need to use that more. So
Yep.
I need to hear another Huff snuff.
yeah.
It's so electric every time.
Yeah.
Now, here's the real question. Do we trust Taylor Jenkins to make that adjustment?
He took Steven Adams out of the Wolves series.
I think so.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Taylor, his flaw is playing too many guys. So he loves to play too many guys. Like this season, we've been playing like 15-man rotations. It's been insane.
Yeah.
So if anyone's gonna like go in the well, and I think it would be Taylor. I just hope we don't see Conchar minutes in the playoffs. Like he should not play. I think if anybody gets any run, it would be Huff.
So let's make our list here. Ja, Jaren, Bane.
How many people are we doing?
However many guys we trust. Guys that we trust can hold their own when we got to play the Lakers, when we got to play OKC, when we got to play whoever, the Mavericks.
Record, right?
So Ja, Jaren, Bane, Kennard, we agree.
Kennard.
That was the fourth one you said.
Vince. We trust in Vince.
I trust Vince.
Okay.
Put Santi in there.
Santi.
All right. All right. I'm on the other side of that, but we'll put it up. That's six.
That's 2 against 1.
I trust BC.
Yeah.
I do trust BC.
I personally don't trust Scotty.
No, I trust Scotty. I'm on the Scotty train.
I don't know why. I don't know why I don't, but I don't.
It's just his turnovers. It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's like a whole team-wide issue that we could get into. Like the turnovers are crazy.
I've got stats. We're gonna get to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so not Scotty.
I'm overruled on this one because I trust Scotty.
Well, okay, I gave you guys Santi, so
fair enough.
Who else?
You put Wells in there yet?
Do we Jalen, Edie?
I'm saying no on Jalen, but if y'all two say Jalen, then we're adding him.
I say Wells, yes, but
Eric?
I'd say yes on Jalen, but definitely not Edie. I'm not there on Edie yet.
See, I am there on Edie.
I'm there on Edie for situations that we need.
Yes. Edie for 12 minutes a game, but not 28.
Okay, yeah. If it's that, then yes.
Okay.
But I'm not ready to play him 20 plus minutes because I don't think it's just playoffs are a different level of physicality. And he's been physical and he's been I know.
He's built for that though. Did you see Eubanks tried to
that's true. He's gonna have to deal with Jokic. He's gonna have to deal with maybe Anthony Davis. It's a different level in the playoffs. You're not playing Drew Eubanks, who should be playing over in Kyrgyzstan or something. How
many guys do we have that could handle Jokic or Davis?
Nobody.
That's my number one concern.
Nobody.
So I mean, we got Edie. Might as well.
Are we capped out at 9?
I think our biggest flaw is dealing with someone like Jokic.
Well,
as we currently exist.
I mean, so would anybody else. The guy's having like the best season in NBA history.
Yeah, but I don't know.
So are we capped out at 9 though?
Huff.
I don't trust Gigi yet.
I absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, absolutely. I don't know if I trust Gigi to play against a 500 team.
He got so much potential.
he's playing better the last couple of games, but it's still just inefficient and he doesn't pass the ball.
I don't think I trust GG to play well against an above 500 team. And I get it. I want him on the team. I want him to be there and get experience because I think he could be a big four. I think he could make this big three into a big four in 1 or 2 years. But right now, nah.
I saw, Anthony Sane.
No.
He's a Grizz Twitter guy. He has a podcast. He called it like the gang after next gen. Him, Gigi, Vince, and Jalen Wells. That like we have our own core three right now with Ja, Jaren, Bane, and they're like the next gen after them, like waiting to. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Like in 5 years, they're going to be so good together if we keep them.
But we'll still have Ja, Jaren, and Bane in 5 years.
Right. And we'll be loaded, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, so it sounds like there is optimism going into the playoffs. So I guess our next order of business is let's dive into those potential playoff series. All right. Who do we want to play as of February 8th, 2025? I'll go ahead. I'll brief the audience here on this scenario. So the Grizzlies, as it stands on February 8th, we are second in the Western Conference, well behind the Oklahoma City Thunders. We have kind of been jump roping with the Rockets for a little bit, but Rockets have actually been on a huge skid as of late. So they're actually down. We've got a couple of games of separation between them. Just some stats for the audience. The Grizzlies lead the NBA in points per game at 123.8. The Grizzlies are first in the NBA in rebounds at 47.9.
Really?
The Grizzlies
That's hard to
are
believe.
No.
That is so hard to believe for me.
It's just because we put up so many shots. Grizzlies are second in the NBA in assists per game at 29.5. Grizzlies are third in the NBA in blocks per game at 6.0 and sixth in steals at 9.3. The glaring issue with the Memphis Grizzlies this year is the turnovers, which the Grizzlies are 29th or second to last in the NBA in turnovers per game at 16.6.
That means we're
those are some of the numbers
in terms of most turnovers.
What's that?
So it's like we have the second most turnovers.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Why would you say it like 29th?
Well, this is the number that it gave you.
Okay.
All right. If you're into the advanced numbers, Grizzlies for a while going, the only team in the NBA that was top 5 in offensive and defensive rating, that has since plummeted, at least defensively. Grizzlies are still top 5 in offensive rating, 5 at 118.2. Offensive rating is points per 100 possessions, so 118.2. Grizzlies have been plummeting with their defensive rating, now down to 7th at 110.5, which is tied with Minnesota for number 6. We both have 1.5. But I believe we were as high as 4 at one point, and we've been plummeting with the defensive rating. Net rating is 4th in the league. So, and really the revealing thing is that the key behind all these stats is that we're number 1 in pace. We're like one of the fastest teams ever. So it's get a lot of possessions. So, but I say all that to say, these are regular season stats. What are your guys' takes for how this is going to transition to the playoffs?
I'm only scared of 3 teams. I think it's the Rockets, it's the Thunder, and it's the Nuggets. The Rockets have given us fits. Even that game that we won, we should not have won that the way it was going. It's teams that like are really good defensively, which is the Thunder and the Rockets. And then just I don't know how we guard Jokic. I don't know how that's going to happen. Although I don't really trust their bench a lot, and our bench is way better than theirs. But Jokic scares me. Everyone else, the Lakers losing Anthony Davis, like they can't beat us now, in my opinion, as long as we have Jaren.
Luka.
But they have no one to guard Jaren. Mark Williams is not stopping Jaren. Jaren's going to average 30, and Luka's a cone on defense, as good as he is. Like
when he was on the Mavericks would always beat us.
Yes, but they would have like actual defenders. Like the Lakers' biggest problem was their defense, and they lost their anchor. They're going to have no way of stopping Jaren down low. Plus, Luka's going to have to guard Desmond Bain. Like, who's guarding Desmond Bain? Luka's going to guard like Jalen Wells or Vince Williams, maybe? It just doesn't. I'm not worried about the Lakers anymore. They scared the heck out of me with AD on their team. We're fine now, in my opinion. I think it's the Thunder. I don't think we match up well against the Thunder. I don't think we match up well against the Rockets and the Nuggets. Everyone else, T-Wolves, I'm not moved. Clippers stink.
Not moved.
Mavs low-key. No.
You're not so you were scared of the Lakers when they had AD, but not the Mavericks.
Well, because they had AD with Phantom Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves. It was and LeBron James.
Well, they still have all the Rui Hachimura and stuff, so that would happen.
Now it's AD with nursing home Klay Thompson. Kyrie is good. Kyrie would scare me, but I'm not really worried about them. The Suns are mid. They're not, I'm not worried. So it's those three teams for me. It's gonna come down to like how serious we are defensively, honestly. Like we just have a lot of games where we're just not locked in. But I think that's why I think it's big getting Vince back in the fold, because he's like a pest. And him on the court with Jaren's awesome. The stats with them on the court at the same time have always been great defensively. And I think if we have that together, then I like our chances of at least winning a series. That's the goal for me. We have to win a series, period. If we don't win a series, it's a massive failure, especially if we're this healthy. But that's kind of where my head's at.
Yeah. I agree about if we don't win a series, it's a huge failure. But also, I feel I wouldn't want to play the Thunder or the Rockets first round, which is definitely probably won't happen unless things drastically change. But the inexperience with them, I think, is to our advantage. I would rather play the Rockets or the Thunder than like the Nuggets, which I know you did say you didn't want to play the Nuggets. I probably wouldn't want to play the Lakers because I'm scared of Luka Doncic a lot, especially playoff Luka Doncic. Lakers and Nuggets for me. I think the Timberwolves would be like a tricky one, but I think it would be a fun series. Clippers, I don't know how they're number 7 right now. We'll see how the Mavericks team works with the new guys, but I think I would welcome any matchup besides Lakers and Nuggets.
Hey, watch out for the Clippers. They just got Bojan Bogdanovic at the deadline.
Is it Bojan or Bogdan?
I think Bojan's the one from the Hawks, right?
Oh, that's
or is that Bogdan? Okay,
yeah.
never mind.
You don't know your Bogdanoviches.
I got to get better at my Bogdanoviches.
Yeah.
Grizzlies have tied with ironically the Trailblazers for the best last 10 game record at 9-1.
Trailblazers?
Yeah. The only other team in the association to be 9-1 in the last 10 games is the Trailblazers, ironically enough, which they are the 13th seed.
Haven't we already played them and like killed them?
Dude, yeah. Because they're rolling out like 4 centers. They're rolling out there like Ayton and Klingon and one other 7-footer. Oh, Robert Williams.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? I don't know how they've won.
They're 9-1. last
No
time?
one cares though.
No one cares.
No one cares. What are we doing? Scoot Henderson is not. What are we talking about? Honestly, I'd be more scared about the Spurs this post trade deadline with De'Aaron Fox.
They're better, but I don't think that vaults them into the scary.
I'm terrified of the Lakers.
Me too.
I'm terrified of the Lakers.
Caleb, they don't have a defense. They might give up 170 points to us. They could score 160, but they can't win. Their defense is going to be so horrendous.
No,
it's going to be laughable.
I don't know. I don't know, dude. Luka Doncic always kills us. He always kills us.
I think their roster is poorly, weirdly constructed, but like Luka Doncic is just.
We have the Luka stopper on our team.
Stop.
There's no Luka stopper.
Don't do that.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared of the Rockets too. And like you guys said, the Thunder, we just don't match up well. But I would prefer the Thunder over the Rockets, just because of the youth.
The Rockets are young too, though.
The Thunder are scary.
Thunder is scary, I agree, but
Clippers, meh. The Timberwolves are worse than. The only player that's better in that team that we beat 2 years ago was Anthony Edwards. Besides that, I still don't know why they traded away Karl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle. Like, why would you actively make your team worse? I don't know. And then Karl Anthony Towns is playing like an all-NBA player in New York, so that looks like the dumbest move ever.
Dumbest move ever was trading for Rudy Gobert with nearly every single asset they had.
Well, that's a polarizing take because they did make the West Finals last year. But
I suppose I can't argue with that.
But, I'm on your side because they were better when Gobert was off the floor. But I digress. Suns. Give me the Suns. I don't care. They're all old, and they don't play defense. And you can't just throw together a team of superstars and expect it to work. Which I guess if we're using that logic, maybe we could. The Lakers, yeah.
They're two great players, but their play styles don't fit on the court. Like how's that going to work offensively? Let alone defensively, they've got no shot.
I suppose you're right. Kings, poor Sabonis, man. Dude's having an all NBA year, and no one cares.
Even an all-star.
He's not even an all-star.
Dude, their front court's nasty though.
Who?
They have Sabonis and Valanciunas. That's like the iron wall. Like that is.
They're both
not going to do anything, but
that's
a scary, down low trying to get physical against those dudes. They're going to get every rebound.
Yeah,
but they traded Kevin Huerter, right?
Who's on that Kings roster though? Who's their guard?
Levine now.
Levine and DeMar DeRozan.
Who's the Keegan Murray's pretty good.
Who's their point guard?
All right. Well, Google is still saying De'Aaron Fox.
They have Malik Monk.
So
he's okay.
They do have Malik. Who's their point guard?
I don't even know it anymore. Mike James or something.
Jay Crowder's on that team now.
They don't have a point guard.
Dude, I love Keon Ellis. I would take Keon Ellis on the Grizzlies.
Who's Keon Ellis?
He's that dude with the half blonde dreads and half black dreads. He's the shooting guard, really twitchy, really good defense.
Yeah.
I know the Kings point guard. It's Jake LaRavia.
Ah, perfect. Oh, they have DeRozan. We missed that one.
Yeah, I'm good on 87-year-old DeMar DeRozan.
I can't say I'm too scared about DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, definitely scared of the Thunder, scared of the Rockets, and I guess the Lakers. We'll see. We still haven't seen Luka Doncic play in a Lakers uniform. He's been injured. So
Is it today? Isn't that happening today? Or is it tomorrow?
Oh,
all I know is we play the Thunder tonight. So
yeah, that's a fun.
we'll
Maybe
see.
I'll be more scared after today.
It's Grizz's 30th birthday, man.
We can't lose for Grizz.
Isn't that the game where like they get all the mascots to like fly
Yeah.
in and there's like the huge party for Grizz's birthday?
I remember one year they had Natch come out and like hit him in the head with a chair, and then like there was the whole theme of the night was Grizz like had to get back at Natch, and then the next game they're like Grizz and Natch have made up, and then Natch hits him with a chair again when he turns his back.
You remember that game when like Grizz they like playing that music and Grizz like strips off his shirt,
Yeah.
his pants. They're like, what is going on in Memphis, dude?
Well, there's Natch, and then now there's this new bear. Whenever we wear the Vancouver jerseys,
Oh,
there's 3 bears now. I don't know his name. He's like the throwback bear when we used to play in the pyramid.
Is he?
Now we've got 2.
Grizz or no?
I don't know if they're related. I don't know. They're different, but
Did y'all see when Grizz like was on the wrestling night and Jerry the King Lawler was having trouble like being 2-on-1, and then Grizz stepped in and like saved the day?
he's the best mascot in sports.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh man. So cool. With the playoffs though, we think that well let's just like a couple weeks here before playoffs start, or a couple months before playoffs start, let's calibrate our ceilings here. What are our expectations, floors and ceilings?
I think ceiling is fair to say we could win the championship. I think we could. It would be hard, but and then I also think floor we could lose first round. So but I think we will not lose the first round. But
I thought you were about to say like we will lose in the first round, but we're also capable of winning the championship.
I think we'll at least get past the first round and then like have a battle in the second round and lose. But
that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
I think we can get to the finals. That's our ceiling. I don't think we're beating the Cavs or the Celtics. I think we can get to the finals, but we could also very easily lose the first round, especially if we get injured again.
Yeah, the durability is not there with this team.
If we could stay healthy, like we don't know what it looks like, and I think it could be really good, but we just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
That's why I guess our ceiling is untapped, because we don't know.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say ceiling we could win, but I don't know. Maybe we need to make like a big trade before we can actually start realistically.
Tonight's a good litmus test. This is going to be a playoff-like atmosphere against a really good team. If we pull another stinker against them, everyone's going to be on fire drill on Twitter, mad at Kleiman for not making a move. But if we play good and win, everyone's going to be riding high. So
we got to win for Grizz's birthday. It's
a must-win for Grizz's birthday.
Must win. Yeah.
I think the ceiling is 2 games away from the finals. I think it's the best that this team could do is maybe reach a game 6 in a West Finals. And I think the floor would be losing 5 or 6 in the first round. So
that would be so devastating.
Yeah.
Yep. So we gotta win one series. Gotta win at least one series. If we win, I don't know what would be. So we all are on the same page that losing in the first round would be a failure. What about losing in the second round? Is that a failure?
I guess it would be the fashion. If we get swept, I'd say yeah. If we weren't competitive,
we lose in 7 games.
I think my expectation is what Luke said, was we win a series and we battle in the second and lose. That's what I expect to happen. I think that's a fair baseline, that since we didn't make any additional moves with the roster that we have and still our youth, we can win a series being the home court team and then have a hard fought second round, and whatever happens, happens. I think that's the minimum expectations for this team.
Copying my takes again.
That's been my take.
I don't know. I'm hopeful that we'll do better than
You
that.
think we can win the finals, our ceiling? I don't think so. I don't think.
I mean, we could. Like, any team in the playoffs could.
I don't think we can win the West.
The Clippers can win the finals.
They could.
Like, anybody that's not mathematically eliminated could.
Yeah, they could. So it's kind of a lame answer. I understand, but I mean, what hope is there if we say we don't even have a chance from the beginning? So
I don't know. We may have this all wrong because just in live updates here, the Mavericks are blowing out the Rockets 52-32, and Anthony Davis has 11 rebounds and 18 points in 16 minutes. So maybe we got this wrong, and we should fear the Mavericks.
Van Fleet's out. Jabari Smith's out.
Jabari Smith's not doing that much.
The Rockets are on a 5-game losing streak. They're actually down to the 4th seed. They were the 2 seed like a week and a half ago, and now they're. Looks like they're getting blown out by the Mavericks here. And then there'll be a half game with the Lakers for the 5 seed. So,
so something's going on with them. So this Mavericks win, that's not gonna.
Man, do like they have a guy in that locker room that like maybe thinks he's really good and thinks he's a winner and puts up a lot of shots.
It's possible, but what would we know about that?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm most scared of AD. Like, as a single player that like causes our team trouble. It's both of them. I have PTSD from AD specifically.
He
destroys us. He destroys
blankets Jaren too. Jaren like shrivels up against Anthony Davis.
He's good this year though.
Actually, I did want to talk about Jaren for a little bit. Jaren is he's already been named an All-Star reserve. So the second time in the career for Jaren, which is huge. And what I think is just a really cool narrative is like, remember we were on here, 3-4 years ago, questioning the durability of Jaren Jackson Jr. and knock on wood, he's been durable. So that's really encouraging to see him being able to be eligible for these All-Star games. And not only that, just taking the leaps that he has been, just really polishing off his offensive game. He had this spin move against the Raptors last night. I was like, how's a 7-footer doing that, man? Defensive numbers are down a little bit. Probably would still make one of the all-defensive teams. I'll say it again. I know I said it last Axecast, but the youngest player in NBA history to win a Defensive Player of the Year, probably not going to be able to say that after another 2 months. Because I think there's a guy in San Antonio that's going to take that from him. So I'll say it again while I can. It's been really cool to see Jaren just continue to develop. I think he's, up there. I think he's going to make an all-NBA team. And he's going to be eligible for that Supermax, which they're saying at the time is a reason for that Marcus Smart salary dump, which even still doesn't make sense. But, that's really cool.
I'm glad you brought up the durability thing because that shift has been massive. And I think another thing that's gone like hand in hand with that is remember how you used to foul like every single game. It's like Jaren's in foul trouble and it's not even halftime, and it's like he's first of all he's not even healthy half the games, and then also when he is, he can't even play because he's getting in foul trouble with these just stupid fouls all the time. And so I know he is like not getting as many blocks as he used to, but like if this is the trade-off, I 100% take it every time because he's been such a game changer, probably our best player this season. Definitely by availability, he's been our best player. So
I agree.
like if he's doing much, I mean, he still has a couple like every game where it's like, come on, Jaren, you didn't need a foul like that. I think like the game that we went to, that playoff series, Caleb, I know, like blames him for that game lost where he like accidentally tackled that guy. But like
Accidentally tackled.
yeah, but he has some bad ones still, but it's leagues better than it has been. So it's pretty cool to like look back and see the shift. And now he's an all-star, same amount of all-star appearances as Ja, I believe. So who would have thought?
I'm looking at Ticketmaster right now. It's like basically a sellout tonight's game.
Really?
Yeah. It's going to be a cool environment.
Nice. It should be, man. I mean, number 1 seed versus number 2 seed. It's a Saturday night.
Everyone's playing, I think, except Chet. I don't think Chet's playing.
I kind of wish I want to see them full strength. Like,
yeah, me too.
I want to see how we match up against them full strength. I wish he was playing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, I had to take that. Jaren's our best player right now. Ja has just kind of taken a step off the gas pedal a little bit as of the last couple games. Before the past 2 games that we had played, I think he was just didn't have that same edge to him. I think he was just kind of getting bummed out about like this not being that revenge season. He still is, that our number 1 player that we go to. But right now, Jaren is playing like our best player. So
I also feel like Ja's taking a different approach. Maybe not. Maybe I'm making excuses for him. I feel like he's just trying to get to the playoffs completely healthy before he starts turning into Ja, where he's just an absolute game wrecker and going all out 100% every play and just taking over. I feel like he's been a lot more passive and willing to. I mean, he's always been a great facilitator in passing the ball, but it just seems like there's less and less possessions where he just keeps the ball for himself to go make a crazy acrobatic play in the lane. It's happened. Like he does it from time to time, but it just seems like as a whole, he hasn't been exerting himself as much, which, I mean, we're 35-16. So if we could stay on this path, get to the playoffs healthy, and then we have a full Ja Morant completely healthy, then I'm fine with that.
I kind of like disagree to an extent. Like I think Ja has spent like a good bit of time injured, like just not playing. So, and also I think like he's going to be himself. Ja Morant's Ja Morant, and we'll always have that. So, like if there's someone I'm not worried about, it's definitely him.
Yeah, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, okay. And so, like he hasn't played as much as Jaren. I don't know what his scoring average is, but might be lower this year. But that's. I think that it's a mistake to like try to say like, we have these 2 great players. We don't need to like make it a, competition, but like their teammates, I guess.
Right.
So
that is like something that's like
getting jealous to the Axe Cast, but
yeah. No, that is like something that I'm continuously like blown away of. Like these guys truly don't have an ego like that. Like I literally saw a quote from Ja saying like, yeah, like Jaren's the franchise or something like that. You know, like he's playing like that franchise player like that. Like he really has no ego like that. I mean, he's got an ego like, you know, I want to be the best job that I can be, but not at expense like you know, I bump Jaren, you know, I don't whatever he's doing. No, he's like I always see like he's always like reposting Jaws or Jaren's like, you know, all-star nods, stuff like that. So to have guys, leaders, have our two really you can throw Bane in there too. Have our three best players like truly put their whole ego aside, just like whatever it takes for us to win, man. Like that's so rare, especially when the going gets tough. And like Jaren is the one getting a little bit more notoriety right now. So that is super
And
cool. That is a good point,
and I
Greg.
know we were a little concerned, maybe not concerned, but with Dez earlier in the year, his slow start, he's been playing sneaky great this last month, and he's starting to hit his true form at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah. Ever since he's come back from that oblique and like given that real time to heal, he's been balling.
For sure.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah. I hope you're right, Eric.
Yeah. Like it did. Josh tried to give Bane his most improved player trophy. Like that's kind of like what you were saying, Caleb.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope we actually get some recognition this year because obviously last year was a wash, but the year before that, you know, second seed in the West and like no all NBA players, no coach of the year, no six man. Like I hope we actually get some notoriety and some recognition at the end of the season this year.
Jenkins has been so close. He deserves.
Yeah. Cool. Any other closing thoughts? Anything else that you guys wanted to touch on?
I think that's it. We just got a big game tonight. It'll
Yeah.
be a great test for our team, see where we're at, because this is probably the biggest game we've played in a while that we're actually fully healthy for. So it'll be fun.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a big one. Be tuning in for sure. So on this Super Bowl Eve, hopefully hopefully Grizzlies can pull it out tonight. Prove that they're amongst the top seeds in the West. So cool. Well, if that's all we got, I'll sign us out here. So this has been the Axe Cast. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time.